Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. Today I'm doing a video in defense of two strong brothers in our community. These brothers are Reverend Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton. We live in a time where many young people don't know their history. Many young people don't appreciate their elders. And, they really need to be educated about their history. A few days ago, I saw a video clip of a protester or some angry person basically berating Jesse Jackson. This person ambushed Jesse Jackson. He approached Jesse Jackson, pretending like he admired him, and then he began to attack Jesse Jackson with a lot of tough questions and uh, insults, basically. And when I saw this video, as I said in a comment section to someone else's video, the first thing I thought is that this person doesn't know what the hell he's saying or what he's doing. I thought that this person that's yelling at Jesse Jackson like that basically needs an ass whipping. If Jesse Jackson had some goons around him, that chump should have been stomped out. Because he doesn't have any idea who the hell he's talking to. Jesse Jackson is a soldier in our community. He has been at the forefront of the struggle for civil rights for decades now. He wasn't somebody that sat back and watched history unfold. He took part in history. He didn't read about Martin Luther King in a book. He organized with Martin Luther King. He was in the marches, put his life on the line for his people. He marched against segregation in the South. And he fought racism in the North. This brother was a part of SCLC, one of the historic civil rights organizations in this country. So he was involved in the movement. He wasn't some intellectual who analyzed life from a distance, who wrote books and lectured. This brother was engaged in the struggle. He was in the trenches. He put his life on the line for his people. Not only was he a part of a historic organization, he created his own organization fighting for Black people, fighting for our civil rights, fighting for our dignity as a people. He fought to create jobs in the Black community. He fought for Black business owners. This brother fought at every stage of our struggle, from the civil rights struggle to the modern day struggle to protect affirmative action and voting rights. That brother has been there at the forefront. He's the one that helped bring attention to issues that would have been ignored if it wasn't for his presence, would have been swept under the carpet if it wasn't for this brother bringing attention to the issue. And the same can be said for our brother, Al Sharpton. That brother was involved in the struggle from day one. They both were involved in SCLC. They both were in the trenches, and they both still are in the trenches. Many people want to say that these brothers are all about the money. If they were all about the money, they would be like Creflo Dollar and Eddie Long. They would be far removed from politics and activism if they were all about the money. They would be preaching prosperity gospel if they were all about the money. But these brothers are not about just some money. These brothers have sacrificed for their people. They have fought for our civil rights and our human dignity. And this brother, Jesse Jackson, not only has he fought for civil rights and human rights, this brother has fought to empower African Americans politically. He paved the way for Barack Obama. His campaign paved the way for people like Barack Obama and others to come. He laid out a blueprint that they could follow or use for guidance. He paved the way for these brothers and sisters. He organized, he worked with people like Amiri Baraka to organize and unite black political figures in Indiana. He gathered them all from all around the country and tried to put together an agenda for his people. This brother has been at the forefront. And it's a disgrace that these ignorant people want to trash this brother. My question to a lot of these people that want to trash him is, what the hell are you doing for your community? What marches have you participated in? What organizations are you a part of? What are you doing for your people besides talking on YouTube? What are you doing? When you have done as much as these brothers have, then maybe you can talk. Maybe you can talk then. Not only did this brother, engage in struggle here in this country, he's helped free hostages in Syria and Iraq. So this brother has a long history. He has fought for the rights of workers. He's fought for the rights of black people. He's fought to protect affirmative action. He's fought for voting rights. He fought for many people that were downtrodden and would have been forgotten if it wasn't for him. And the same is true for Al Sharpton. This brother fought for a lot of people that were ignored. Some people get the impression that Al Sharpton goes wherever the cameras are. But this brother brings the cameras and brings attention to the issues. He shines the light on the darkness. People they call on him to come and help them with their various problems of racism. They call him for a reason, because they know that he's a strong voice for black people. A strong voice. Nobody heard of no Gina 6 until the brother brought attention to it. The brother marched for all these people that were gunned down in New York City. People like Sean Bell and Amadou Diallo. He brought attention to police brutality. He brought attention to the corrupt practices of the police department, the brutality and the abuse that these police inflict on black people. That takes a courageous person. That takes a soldier to speak out on those types of issues. And people want to suggest that Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton are all about the money. If they were all about the money, they would not talk about issues that matter to black people. Instead, they would be like Creflo Dollar and all those other preacher pimps that preach prosperity gospel. Prosperity gospel. And they could have raked in millions if they did that. if they just sold out and sold the people a pack of lies. They could have cashed out if they were all about the money. But these brothers sacrificed for their people. I'm not saying that they're perfect. You know, of course, they are flawed men like all of us. And of course, like all leaders, they need to be held accountable for their actions. They do need to be held accountable. But let's not throw out these brothers who have sacrificed so much for us. You know, and people were talking about how Jesse Jackson allegedly was trying to raise some money for his church. You know, I saw a lot of articles about this here on YouTube, and well, not on YouTube. I saw articles online. And, you know, I looked at these articles, and basically all of these articles are relying on a tweet from a blogger. That's the basis for their article. There's no video footage of Jesse Jackson asking for money or demanding money for his church. I haven't seen any actual video footage of him doing so. I haven't heard any audio of him making pleas for money. I haven't heard it. You know, you would think with all those cameras focused on Ferguson, as Harvey Superboy pointed out, you would think that they would have some footage of this incident. We have to understand that there are people that work day and night to discredit black leadership. That is their mission in life, to destroy black leadership, to have you attacking your own leaders, to have you believe in the hype and no longer supporting people who are fighting for us. That's just what they do. I mean, that's the white supremacist mindset. These people feel like they have the power to determine who our leaders will be. But let me go back to the point about Jesse Jackson supposedly asking for money. Again, there's no footage of this. There's no audio of this. And most of the articles about this, most of the people that are happy to hear this news, that Jesse Jackson got booed, most of them are right-wing conservatives. Most of these people that are like celebrating the fact that Jesse Jackson got booed, or celebrating that video of that ignorant person confronting Jesse. Most of the people celebrating that nonsense are right-wing people who don't give a damn about us. And you have to put that in perspective when you look at these stories. You have to ask yourself, who is the source? Is this source reliable? That's what you need to ask yourself. So until I have definitive proof that Jesse Jackson was trying to pimp this situation to line his pockets, I reject those stories. I reject them outright. And I'm going to close out this video with a little clip to show you exactly what I'm talking about when I talk about how these white people, these right-wing extremists, feel like they have the power to decide who our leaders will be. They play this game of divide and conquer. That is how they conquer us as a people, by dividing us, by having this one go against that one and that one go against this one. They keep us in a state of confusion and turmoil, and that's how they maintain power and supremacy over us. You know, and Malcolm X always talked to us about this. He talked about the divide and conquer strategy. You know, how the media plays leaders against each other or people against each other. And I'm going to show you this clip. I'm just going to close out with this clip of this Fox News program where they basically invited this brother on the show, not because they wanted to hear what this brother had to say. They invited him on the show because they thought he was going to be used as a tool to attack Al Sharpton. They brought the brother on the show so that he could attack Al Sharpton. But this brother was intelligent. This brother was wise. He was hip to their game, and he didn't play along. Instead, he stood united with his brother Al Sharpton. And many of us need to take a footnote from this video. We need to take a lesson from this video for how we should conduct ourselves in public. Fox News couldn't care less about black people. Fox News don't give a damn about our leadership. So you got to ask yourself, if Fox News is attacking a leader, a black leader, you got to ask yourself why. And when I see racist white people attack black leaders, I know that that black leader is doing something right. When these racist right-wing white people start celebrating or honoring some black person in our community, you got to ask yourself, what the hell are they doing wrong? That should be a red flag to you. So I'm going to close out. Check out this video. Please rate, comment, and subscribe.
Well, the marchers have had no shortage of company in recent days, including visits from the Reverend Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, who shared this thought at a rally on Sunday.
We have had enough. The issue is how a young man with no deadly threat, no life extenuating circumstances was shot multiple times. That's the issue, and that's the issue America's got to deal with. We don't want no double talking. We don't want no backsliding. We want to know where justice is.
Joining me now, Pastor Robert White from the Peace of Mind Church. He has been out there trying to maintain calm and lower the temperatures. Pastor, good of you to be with us tonight. You don't think that Al Sharpton is helping, nor Jesse Jackson. Why?
Actually, we do appreciate the support that we've gotten from our national leader. Mr. Sharpton has provided some invaluable support to us here at the local level. And if I could just reiterate what he said, we have had enough, and we want to know where justice is. And so after talking to Mr. Sharpton and sitting down with him, he's actually providing some intel and some strategies for us as local leaders on how we can go through and keep the peace that your reporter was just talking about. The reason that peace is happening is because we have peacekeepers out there. We have clergy out there. We've partnered with other community leaders as well as with the police force on what we can do each day to keep the peace in the community.
Well, I think that's great because your group really has been out there working to do that, and kudos to you. But just want to make sure I understand what you're saying about Reverend Al Sharpton, because you spoke with our producers earlier and said that you believed that Reverend Jackson and Reverend Sharpton were only here for a photo op, and you were critical of them. Are you saying that since then you've sat down with Al Sharpton and you've come to a different point of view?
Well, I think the power of words have allowed me to have access to sit with him and talk. So it gave me an opportunity to not just see what's on the news, to sit down with him and talk about strategies going forward.
And let me guess, those strategies include you not criticizing him anymore.
Oh, I don't have a problem criticizing him. We're not going to agree on everything, but right now we're in agreement as to what we can do each day to keep the peace. We're trying to eliminate the number of guys who are being arrested, the number of people who are being killed, as well as the number of outside agitators that are coming here causing all this ruckus in our community.
One of the problems is he's been accused of being an outside agitator because he has come in and said things like what we just heard, that Michael Brown was posing no deadly threat, which goes right to the heart of the matter and is exactly what a grand jury and potentially a jury will have to decide. He doesn't know whether Michael Brown was posing a deadly threat or not.
Well, we believe in the democratic process. But I heard you guys talking about this earlier. I do believe the officer is guilty. He's guilty of the unrest that has been caused by his actions, because he was called to serve and to protect, and he didn't give us our due justice. He didn't give Mike Brown his due justice.
How do you know?
So if that's considered agitation, then we need agitation, because we need to make a change as to what's happening in our community.
How do you know that, Pastor? How do you know?
Well, I know that because 6 shots, 2 to the head, over an unarmed suspect who put his hands up, on which many witnesses have said he put his hands up. My dad was a cop for years. I know a bunch of police officers, and to a person, some of these officers out here have talked to us, and they are not comfortable with the end result of what this officer did to this unarmed young man.
But what I hear you offering, and you are more than entitled to it, as is Al Sharpton, is your belief. And that's fine. You can have your belief, but you cannot stand up and assert as fact, as he did, that Michael Brown posed no deadly threat. That's what we have a justice system for. That's why we're convening a grand jury. If you had the answers, if Al Sharpton did, if the governor did, we wouldn't need these 12 people to convene tomorrow and tell us whether this case should proceed.
Well, here's the facts. The facts is Mike Brown is dead. The fact is people in Ferguson cannot get home at night. The fact is our community is under siege by media, businesses are not open, children are not able to go to school. Those are facts.
Yes.
And all of this happened because an officer pulled his trigger 6 times on a young man who said, hands up, don't shoot.
You were with
tell me, Kelly,
we were
what kind
together
of
till that
justice
last part, and that part remains to be seen. But listen, Pastor, good for you and your group for all